Effective communication has two main elements: speaking and listening. Communication is not only an important tool in our day-to-day interaction with friends and family, but also in our marriages. How do we improve how we speak to one another as married couples? Stay tuned as Dr. Njeri Gashohi takes us through effective communication in marriage in today's episode.
Welcome again to our class. We continue, and this is an open class now. We are allowed to sit and talk, but we are going to still to learn. We've been learning about effective communication. Yes. We talked about speaking and also listening. But there are some issues that have risen sometimes because we would want us to get to the gist of the matter. Exactly, maybe how do we respectively communicate? How do we know how to speak to somebody? How do we speak that truth in love? And how do we also speak gently? How do we also speak timely? And then when we are listening, how do we listen empathetically, actively, and non-judgmentally? And as we will have a time to discuss, but I want us to look at some tips, you know, tunasema hints, au kuibiwa kamtihani, kama Kenya, yes, correct somewhere, kama Kenya ya kwamba pengine hii huja kuwa ukifanya. So this time we are looking at tips of how to communicate, okay, properly. And one of them is, we said, be intentional on the words you choose to initiate a conversation. Sure. One of the things we find it sometimes hard, we said you were supposed to speak the right word for the right occasion. Sure. But now for the right word and the right occasion, remember there is time. So what does that mean? Be intentional. So intentional means you even plan. Today I want to ask about a business, or what has happened to our business, or how many, how are we going to support the other family, or the needs that are there. So what do? You don't wait when he just enters or she enters the door and then you are there. Na mama yako alikuwa hapa anaitisha pesa. Sasa tutakuwa, you start it there. It may be burning, but the timing is not. So what do, if it's a good matter you want to talk about, then we say be intentional on the words and also the time. Okay? If it is an issue where you may need some more privacy, let's say it is a bedroom matters, and man and wife, you need to talk about things. You can have a dinner out, but not in the public where now you start talking everything, it might not work. But you are going to choose a right moment and a right place. Yes. We are saying being intentional. Okay? And then the another thing is, if you have to speak about something that maybe you want somebody to change, use what we call I statement. I hope we don't forget that. I statement. You don't say, you always embarrass me. Okay? It is not you. It is me who feels embarrassed. And you say, sometimes I feel uncomfortable when you speak to me like this in public. Okay? Yes. So if you say, I feel uncomfortable when you correct or you point out something I said in public, it is me. He has no way of refuting. But if I say, you always embarrass me, you know what I've done? You've already accused him. So what does he start? Defense. And so now it will be now ping pong. It is you and they tell you, but you always do like this, and then it will never go anywhere. So I statement. You have cooked and he has come late. So you don't say you always come late. When you say you, it's accused, it now always has the defense. And then he might even say, sijana nilikuja mapema, oh, kwa hivyo hata uoni wakati nimekuja mapema. You see now what has happened? You have nullified the truth. Because you have used the, you. So what you do is, I would love it, Baba so-and-so, or my sweetie, if you came and we had supper together before it's cold. What have you done? You have already communicated that you don't like it when he comes late. But you don't say you. Okay? Start, we say I. I is the fact that you can't refute. It is my feeling. It is what I am experiencing. So if I feel angry, if I feel embarrassed, it is me. Yes. Sometimes once you know what you are doing is causing me some discomfort, you will stop if you love me. Yes. Do you understand now? Yes. That is another way of communicating. The other thing is avoid using general words, or what we call the overstatements. Overstatement, general or generalizing or stereotypes. That does not go anywhere. Like what I have mentioned, you always come late. You never speak to me. You, how do we use the words?
Never listen to me.
You never listen to me. Okay? So even now that time, you know, they will always now, it goes back to say, you mean I don't do that? You never provide. Okay? I'm always the one where there is always those exaggerations. Sometimes the general ones have a lot of, okay, they may have part of the truth, but when we extend it, the generalization affects even somebody who has been trying. Okay? You never do this. You always do this. Or even sometimes likening them to something. Unafanya kama mama yako. Whichever way. Hata kama nilikuwa najaribu. Mama yangu anafanya namna gani? Usiigize mama hapa. You know, then it goes now. That is a quarrel. Never use the generalization, neither the likening. Don't say, oh, umesema kwa mwenda wazimu. You know, the karma has its own way of spoiling the whole conversation. And if you want to lose direction, mulikuwa mnaongea vizuri, halafu unasema, hii unaongea kama mama yako, or you are shouting like your father. Now that one, you've already brought another person outside here. And if I'm related to that person, inaingia roho. Hata kama mama yangu ni mwenda wazimu, sincerely, they deserve respect. Okay? Whatever my parents are, whoever they are, all of us, our parents deserve respect. And so in any conversation, let's never bring them.
That is true.
Okay? That's what we are calling tips. And then another one is this. Anytime you are speaking, endeavor or try to be understood other than to be heard. Okay? Do you know what is the difference?
Yes.
To be understood other than to be heard. You see, we can be having a conversation here. Na kila mtu anachangia. Kwa sababu nataka hata mimi nilisema yangu. But did they really... Okay, hata mimi nilimwambia, hata yeye asikie. But is it that you wanted to be understood or to have the last word? Because that is now the poor communicator we called the competitor. Yes. The competitor always talks to be heard, but never to be understood. Hata mimi nilisema yangu. Okay? So at that time, you are losing it. You are not winning. Because the other person may, okay, umesema tu, unasema umesema yako. Okay? Kwa sababu umesema. Lakini hii ndio tulikuwa tunaongelea. Because you can say, because hata mimi niongee. Okay, so hata kama ikiwa the monologue has continued, but don't just speak for the sake of speaking. Okay. The other thing is speak or stick to a specific topic and possible one at a time. Speak on one issue one at a time. Kunaweza kuwa kulikuwa na watoto wamekuletea shida, neighbor alikuja, mother-in-law alikuja na mtu wa stima. Now, ukikuja, if you start on those issues before one responds, na mama yako alikuja hapa, hata mtu, you know, what happens is you don't solve anything. If they are speaking, now speak and say, by the way, kulikuwa na hii. And as we said, be intentional on what to start with. Yes. I mean, if you want to provoke his emotions, maybe you can bring out ile inachagia inachemusha kila kitu. If you're intentional or making no communication at all. But if you want progress, even a man plans how I'm going to speak about the issue. Okay? Yeah, maybe you want to have another child. Na amesema staki. There's a way you can bring it out. Sure. But you sure know that's a conversation that does not need to be spoken in the kitchen. Yes. That is not when somebody is leaving. Na nataka tupate mtoto mwingine na unajiendea.
And it cannot be coupled with the electricity bill.
Yes, you can't put it together with the mother-in-law also. Alikuja or the school fees. This is something that you have to plan. If possible, hata ka ranch out, ikama si ka date out, then munaongea. And then you bring out, this is what we need to talk about. Yes. Okay. Then after that, we say you express positive feelings and put them into words. What do we mean expressing positive feelings? Means if you like what somebody has said, say it. And that is a good point. That whatever you have said, naona kama itafanya kazi. If we are talking and I am not responding, the only time I'm responding is like the assassin, ile ya kuhonga. Sasa hiyo ni point umetoa. Would you, now is that really positive? No. But you may give an, oh, say, but that one is a good idea. We can try that. So what happens? Now in that way you are responding or giving positive feelings, whatever you feel, but you also give them in terms of words. It encourages effective communication.
Sure.
Okay? Yes. The same way if it is, we said speaking truthfully in love. If you have been offended by what he has said, ile msema yenyewe hujaniambia hiyo poa. Ni vizuri. Hujasema poa. Maybe there's a way he said, and hata kama niyo ya ku describe wewe, ona vile umevaa. But let's say, let me use the Mama Peter. Let me use that one. If somebody says, ona vile umevaa kama Mama Peter, ukikumbuka vile Mama Peter anakaa na vile umevaa unajiaga unashindwa kweli. Unaweza mwambia by the way hujaniambia poa. Ni vizuri niambie tu. I mean sijavaa vizuri au ni nini nitarekebisha, but don't like it. Okay? So if we are not happy about what we have been told or somebody has said, speak truthfully in love. Tell the person, hiyo haikuni pendeza au sikupenda. Si kumwambia umeongea vibaya. We have said, we say I. But you say, you know, I have not felt well, you know, when you have said that. That is very important, okay? So I've said negative feelings the same way. Put your feelings into words. For us to grow in communication, one of the things that we need to really also tuweze kujua ni kwamba wakati nasikia hivi ninaweza sema, mtu akikuuliza unasikiaje unasema baya. Baya ni kusema nini? Au nothing. So you have asked somebody, what's wrong? Nothing. And nothing, na vile anafanya vituko huko jikoni, amegongesha vitu kila kitu, na anakaa akipiga mdomo, na ukimuuliza ni nothing, that is not nothing. Okay? Or I am feeling bad. I'm not okay. What is that okay? When we are able to communicate, you say, I'm feeling angry or frustrated, or I feel, sometimes let's say like, you know, I feel bad about myself. Maybe, what do you feel? Like, you have let yourself down, okay? You're disappointed with yourself. And maybe somebody may ask you why. Unajua nilienda nikafanya hivi. Okay? So what are those feelings? Once you put them into words, people understand you better. Not saying, nasikia vibaya.
But that one, teacher, for hiyo ya kusema nimesikia mimi mwenyewe si nimefanya, so many of us we don't want to accept ati ya kwamba I'm feeling bad. Why? Because I've done something that is not right. Mostly sisi wengi wanadamu hatupendi, mostly spouse hatupendi kukubali. Tunapenda tujipige kifua na niseme I was right there. Nilifanya okay, ile ya kwamba ninataka nionekane ni mimi nilifanya hivi na ni lazima iwe ni kitu kizuri. Lakini hii ya kukubali ni mimi nilifanya makosa ama ni mimi I'm feeling bad because I did this, hiyo inakuwa kama vile tuseme the lady anaweza kosea mume na anaona that's not an issue, but kuna vile tunafaa niwe ninasikia I'm feeling bad because I've hurt you. I'm feeling bad because I didn't do the right thing to you.
Yes.
Or I didn't do what you wanted to be done. most of us we don't, hatukubali kusema ni mimi. Ninafaa niseme I did this because I saw it was the right thing.
Correct. And that's why we say we need to grow from from one level to another, because the level where we can be able to be open to the fact that I can say, you know, there's a time my husband came and said, I've done a stupid thing, you know. It's like, I asked why, you know, he would warn that he did something that he even wonders, sasa niko nafikiriaje, because you see, you have, I think I should have, okay, I would say this issue, where somebody is calling you, and you know, I've seen these people, sometimes you may never think you can never be conned.
Yes.
But there are those times he's in a meeting and somebody is calling and saying, I'm so and so, using the same voice of a good friend of his, I'm so and so, I am in a fix. Can you assist me with this amount and I'll be able to refund with this hour? And do you know, anamuliza na hii namba sijaiona, hii ni namba hiyo ingine. Have you seen, you're in a meeting, you're chairing a meeting, somebody is calling you and telling you, I'm so and so, ne wakamau. Now, you already have a friend who is called that. Now, their voice is the same. And there is also that time when you almost don't want to go to all the details of the person because there is this. And I have this emergency. Would you just give me this amount? I'm going to refund you. Then after that, only after that you realize, I should have verified. He calls now the actual Wakamau and he's like, I've not called you. And he has realized he has just been called. So many men don't want to come and say how they were conned because they don't want to be told, ugeuliza, ugefanya hivyo haraka. You know, that's what we keep saying. Kama ni mimi. And I want to tell you, never say kama ni mimi. I want to say, I would want to see that kama ni mimi. Because you, unless you're either not frank about or truthful about yourself. So he came and told me, nimefanya something stupid. I told him, maybe it wasn't. So he just told me, I told him, I don't think you would. Because I also know. I found a lady, somebody, I mean, an elegant lady crying because they had been told their daughter is in hospital. Has broken one leg and they were waiting. Na najua ako na mtoto shule. Ati wamevujika akiwa anacheza hockey. And the girl was playing hockey. Imagine, I don't know how they even can, only to realize it was, anamuliza kwa hospitali gani, sini hapa general gani? I said, before we, sini hapa, let's rush there. When we reach there, where are you? We are here. Sisi kukwambia ni huko, sinimekuambia ni Thika. That's the time we realized. She had already sent the first bunch of money. How? And she was crying that the child is injured, broken, mguu anawekwa chuma. Now that's what I'm saying. If somebody can freely talk about it, now you're going to one level to another. That is, you're open to the fact that you can talk about your emotions and your feelings and don't fear to be judged. Don't be told, hai, unakwaniwa kwani ni mtoto. Kwani wewe ni mtoto. Do you see?
Men ndio huwa sana hawapendi. Usikia ati anakuja anakuambia ati you know what, mimi ninajua mtu alienda akakoniwa more than 50,000 na ni mtu anamwambia mimi niko na dollars na ninataka nikuje tukutane nikupatie hizi dollars na amount yake ni like 500,000 na mimi kwako ninataka tu uniletee 200. Akamwambia basi sina hiyo 200 for now but ninaweza kuja na 50. But ile kuenda kubadilishana ikawa sasa huyu ni makaratasi ya kitabu zimechorwa vizuri na huyu ameenda na 50 amepeana hiyo imeenda hivyo na imeenda hivyo. But sasa I thank God because the lady has wisdom. Vile mume alirudi nyumbani akamwambia you know what, mimi nimetenda kitendo ambacho hata siwezi nikajielewa vizuri. Na ndio hivyo unasema it is good kujikubali useme hapo mimi kabisa nimetenda kitendo ambacho kabisa hicho kimenifanya nisikie niko chini kabisa. Na ndio hiyo our sister was talking about the ego of a man. Kabisa unaona you have your ego but at some point lazima ukubali uko chini. Umefinywa, kuna mahali umefinywa.
True.
Yes.
But then also the ladies how we respond also.
Yes.
Would make the other day akuja seme. Sasa kwa sababu kuna vile tuna respond ajue anyewe next time I would say.
Mimi hapo kwa si wote wenye yani hawakubalingi makosa. Kuna wenye wanakubali kwa sababu tunaona David alichukua Bathsheba na akaua Uria. Na Mungu akaleta jaji kwa hiyo jamii, wakapata mtoto akakufa na mtumishi wa Mungu akatumwa katika hiyo nyumba prophet. Na akakuja na akamunenea na akaona I myself. Na hapo ndio alijirudia. So I think they are outside. Kuna some men like David
ikiwa ameshikwa. Because hata Daudi alikuwa ameanza kujitetea wakati amepewa hiyo parable ya mtu ako na kodo moja na ako na mingi, wakakuja wakakula hiyo moja, alikuwa anasema huyo mtu alipe. I mean when he was told thou art the man or you are the man, he said oh, that's the mediarized. I have sinned. So, okay, anyway, there is that part where a man feels, hapa ni lazima nijikubali.
Akipelekwa mzuri kama venye tu David alipelekwa. Hata yeye atajirudia aone yes ni mimi. Atajirudia. Unajua sisi tunakoseanga hata nikitereza kidogo suri. Lakini yeye kabla hiyo suri itoke lazima umpeleke hivi muende roundabout murudi kwa highway ndio akuje akubali.
Aston unakubali na hiyo?
Ninakubali that I'm tying it all around to what you had said about the listener being non-judgmental.
Yes.
Yeah, when you and your spouse have gotten to a level where you know you don't judge each other, then it becomes easy to be vulnerable.
True.
Because unfortunately, as she has said, and which is true, men have ego. When they feel they are going to be judged, they'd rather protect themselves by not disclosing their weaknesses. Mtu anasema wacha nijikaze kimwanaume tu nipambane na hali yangu. Kumbe deep down, this man is really hurting. Yet he's supposed to open up to the wife, and the wife can assist. But akisuspect atakuwa judged, tanyamaza tu nitapambana na hali yangu. Maybe I'll solve the issue vile ninajua. Yes.
Okay. I think that is where the issue of effective communication and listening comes in. Because if you just do like you've just said, a silly thing, let's call it that way. Then ukienda nyumbani umekoniwa na sasa unapata kila kitu sasa kinaletwa. Budgets that were for today, for tomorrow and for next week and next year. Ambiwa sasa unajua hata watoto wamefukuzwa. Sasa you know unataka kuonyeshwa wewe ndiye ulifanya jambo ambalo si la hekima. Pesa zikaenda na we need it now.
So
we need it now and here. So next time you will feel that when you do such kind of a thing, then unakuja unaka silent. So the person receiving this kind of a communication need also, that is why we were talking about non-judgmental listening.
Yes.
Na empathetical. That hata when you are conned, sio wewe umekoniwa, ni sisi. We are both in it together.
We are in it together too.
Na hata kama ni mimi, hata mimi labda singeepuka. Wewe ni mzuri umekoniwa 20k, mimi ningekoniwa 100. You know, you empathize so that you can have now the other person open up next time and the other time.
True.
But if you are judgmental, namwambia sasa hii ni jambo gani nimefanya hapa, then utampoteza.
That is it.
Yes.
In fact, okay, yes.
Nikiongezea hiyo yake ninataka kusema tena sasa sana men tuseme working class lady akiwa tuseme mama ni ako class kubwa yani ya kifinances ama kazi yake ni kubwa na bwana ako kwa ya kama venye tulikuwa tumesema nyingine ya katikati na akonyiwe anaona huyu nikienda kumuitisha ile pesa yake nimwambie kuna mahali ama tuseme ako na mahitaji hiyo yani kuna hiyo ego yenye wanayo si tunasemanga they are one. So wakiwa kama wako one, hata kama umepitia ni mzuri kwa familia. Wanakaa wanaongea wanasema tulienda hivi na hivi ama sina uwezo wa hapa na hapa. Yenyewe inakuanga not men, si wengi. Sijasema ni wote kwa sababu babangu na mume wangu wako hapo na marafiki zangu. So hawa wako hapo. Lakini nasema ni mzuri Kama ni Mungu alikupea na ulimpenda venye yako. Na mkaingia pamoja na mkaanza jamii. Na huyo mke kwa jamii yako ni kama msaidizi. Na msaidizi tunajua who is Holy Spirit. Ni msaidizi. So hata huyu mama amechukua hiyo kukubalini, ni ukweli, ameingia hapo kama msaidizi. So kama ni msaidizi, ukiwa uko chini, enda umwambie sitaweza hii school fees. Kama una uwezo nisaidie. Na kama huyo mama kabisa you are one, atakusikiza. So tu hii yenye tunasema iko.
Lakini kwa Yesu ikikuja, when people are also surrendering their lives to the Lord, because there's also that part of God that works. You see, if we take the traditional man, kuna vile mtu anasema kwetu, sisi, hatufanyangwi. But there's a way it reaches when you look at yourself together with the mirror of the word of God, you realize there's that part where unazushwa. The reason is, as we say, na vile umesema ni vizuri kwa sababu ni vizuri tutajie hivi. Kwa sababu wakati mwingine communication inaweza katwa because people think they are in different levels, even economically. Mimi niko na mapato mingi, hakuna kitu unaweza niambia. Najua hiyo inatatiza mawasiliano. Because you see, like now, if a woman, and unfortunately I don't know, because there is also the order of God, you realize that if somebody feels that I am above and I'm the one who is supposed to be speaking, then you don't allow the other person to, you're not now communicating. Kwa sababu kuna yule atakuwa akiongea. Okay? The same way, even when a man thinks, I'm the only one who can speak here because I am the man, not knowing that that is a position amepewa, there will be, because you should not like impute or like impose of submission to somebody. In fact, submission is voluntary. So even as a lady, even though you are earning a lot, that does not give you ati wedi utakuwa ukisema. Okay? If it is our money, then let's consider how we can also communicate about how to use it. Pengine yangu imeenda hivyo. Kama umesema, maybe there was something that I was planning, I took a loan, and then imeenda hivyo, tumesema imeenda kwa maji. So now we will start planning with what you have because it is our money. And the communication should not be hidden because of economic status or what we feel. And so even that ego, tuipeleke msalabani. Kuna vile inaweza zushwa na Mungu atusaidie kwa sababu the communication should be there. I think we are looking at, as we conclude, you look at, those are the tips we were saying. We can look at how, even that ego, as we say, kwa vile Mungu akitusaidia tuweze kuwa na, intentionally speaking, intentionally listening. Hata kwa pale tumejajiwa, hata kwa pale hatukuwa tunaongea vizuri, you realize we can restore our communication. And one of the things you realize is that one of the because we'll be looking at later conflicts in marriage, you realize number one issue of what brings conflict is inadequate or poor communication. And we are almost solving it now. Yes. That we can be able to speak. Even when it comes to conflict, you realize, we tackled it. Yes. So thank you so much. We meet again next class. And let's try to be effective communicators at home. Thank you. God bless.
Stay tuned to learn about marriage conflicts and how to solve them on next week's episode. To get the notes of today's lesson, visit www.mbcimedia.com/TMC. Catch the repeat of the Marriage Classroom every Tuesday at 10 p.m.